Trigonometry basics. Every triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. To solve a triangle means to find the values of the sides and the angles. When solving right triangles, the Pythagorean theorem is a way to solve for an unknown side when the other 2 sides are known. A way to find other values in a right triangle is trigonometry. The word trigonometry means triangle measure. Trigonometry is a way of solving triangles using the ratios between the sides and angles in a right triangle. The core functions or ratios of trigonometry are the following: the sine function, the cosine function, the tangent function. Each of these would be in relation to a specific angle other than the right angle. For example, here's a right triangle. You can see that one angle is the right angle, that's this one right here, and another angle is labeled x. And we might talk about the sine of x, or the cosine of x, or the tangent of x. The sine of an angle will be the ratio between the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So for angle x, the opposite side is this one right here, which is across from the angle. The hypotenuse is always this long side, which is across from the right angle. The cosine of x is the ratio between the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. The adjacent side for angle x is this one right here, which is touching angle x and is the other arm in the angle in addition to the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse again is this one right here. The tangent of x is the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent, and again for angle x, the opposite side is this one right here, and the adjacent side is this one right here. These ratios are very important and you need to memorize them. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. The common way to remember these ratios is by remembering SOHCAHTOA, which stands for sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Let's use some of these ratios in some examples. So here's our right triangle, and let's say in this triangle that the opposite side to angle x measures 3 meters, and the adjacent side equals 4 meters, and we could use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which in this case is 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared is 16, equals 25, and the square root of 25 is 5, so we know that the hypotenuse is 5 meters. Now let's use these numbers to set up our sine function, cosine function, and tangent function. We know that the sine of x is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, which means in this case the sine of x is equal to 3 meters over 5 meters, and when we divide that we find that the sine of x is equal to 0.6. So what about the cosine of x? Well, we know that cosine is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so in this case, cosine is 4 meters over 5 meters. And when you divide that out, you'll find that the cosine of angle x is equal to 0.8. What is the tangent of x? Well, the tangent is equal to opposite over the adjacent, so the tangent is equal to this 3 over 4 in this case. When we divide that out, we'll find that the tangent of angle x is 0.75. So memorize these ratios and remember SOHCAHTOA. So why is this important? Well, remember that sine, cosine, and tangent are ratios. So that means that with this triangle, no matter how big or small it gets, angle x is going to stay the same. It's the same angle. It's still however many degrees. And therefore, the ratio between the sides is also going to stay the same. So the sine, cosine, and tangent for this triangle is always going to stay the same, even though the actual length of the sides is different. That's going to be very useful in solving real-world problems in trades like pipe fitting, construction, and so on.